Welcome everybody to Tailgates podcast. I am one of your hosts.
Intro episode. Let's go.
Week 1. Here we are. Chiefs, Bills, and the whole damn NFL is back. Let's talk matchups, bets, and fan chaos. I'm one of your hosts, Tom Montreville, and we've got...
I'm David Norse, Chiefs fan. Never guessed,
James
right?
Canada.
Yeah, I don't think you could guess what fans we are. Somebody's going to ask that, be like, wait, are you a Bills fan or Chiefs? Like, I don't know. I guarantee you we're going to hit that. Anyway, season kickoff roundtable.
He's a Buffalo Wings fan.
I am. I actually hate B-dubs, to be honest. I truly do.
Well, we
He
won't
didn't
get
say
them
Buffalo
as a
Wild
sponsor
Wings.
now. Wow.
I hate
We already
B-dubs.
ruined that sponsorship chance right off the bat. He's kidding. We love you. Please sponsor us. We'll take anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody.
Anybody at this time. It's the season kickoff roundtable. I am excited about the 2025 football season. And I'll tell you why. A couple of reasons I love it is some of the rookies that some of these teams have picked up. I don't think it was the best draft class we've seen by far, any stretch of the imagination. But I'm pretty excited to see some of these young guys that Buffalo's picked up: Kansas City, Philly, Dallas, Tampa Bay, a lot of them. And see some of these old farts, for instance, Aaron Rodgers. Like, what is Pittsburgh doing? I don't get it. I'm excited to see that more than anything. I'm excited to see the shit show that's going to burn down in Pittsburgh. That's what I'm excited for.
It's a retirement village.
Yeah. Well, they're obviously aiming for the number 1 draft pick.
Well, they're doing a really good job of it. I will say that. What are you excited for?
No,
What gets
There's
you
a lot
excited?
of really interesting storylines. I think the whole shit show in Dallas has been fun to watch this offseason. So it'll be interesting to see how the trade with the Packers is going to impact the NFC as a whole. I think we've got a lot of reoccurring storylines, and a lot of media talk about the Chiefs in particular. Is Mahomes a product of the coaching staff, or is he a good enough player on his own? So I think that'll be fascinating. Josh Allen take the next step will be interesting too. And goodness, I mean, are the Eagles the best constructed team of the last 25 years? Because it's hard to argue that they may not be. So I don't know, but I mean, what a time to be alive. It's going to be a fun season for sure.
I concur.
I like that. It's going to be a very fun season. My big thing, though, that I will say with the Patrick thing is if it is coaching, when would we see a coaching change? Even offensive coordinator.
He's already had one offensive coordinator change. Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. I think Andy Reid's probably got 5 more years left in him for coaching. That would put Patrick Mahomes at 34, 35, I guess, at that point. So
You think Big Red will go 5 more years?
I think so. I think, knock on wood, if his health holds together.
Well,
I just can't picture.
Let's say the Chiefs win in the next 2 Super Bowls in a row. You think he'll be like, fucking staying for 3? You never know. I thought he'd leave this year if we would have won.
No.
You know what I'm
No, I think he loves it too much. I think he lives for it. If he was, I don't know. If he was any other coach, then maybe. I think you'd have a good point. And I also think like the whole legacy conversation comes into play too. I think if he wins 1 or 2 more Super Bowls, and you got to think like we're left with a lasting impression of how dynasties and how coaches leave, and Bill Belichick did not do himself any favors. So I think
he's doing great in North Carolina. You saw that game last night. It was a nail biter. It was real close.
Yeah, I know, right? I think my favorite meme out of that real quick was like the score was 41-7, and that was somebody said that was Bill Belichick's age to his girlfriend's age. He was 41, she was 7, which is absolutely hilarious.
You see her on the sideline asking for change for the snacks concession stands.
Concession stands.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Yeah. No, I really do think if Andy Reid wins probably 2 more Super Bowls, I honestly think he'll go down as probably the greatest coach of all time. I know he won't have the 6, but I think overall he's been more consistent. He's done it with multiple teams. So I think there's an argument to be made there.
Yeah, and that argument can stretch into the league's getting harder and harder to win. Every game is harder and harder to win than 10, 15 years ago, right? Or 5, 6 years, 7, 8 years ago. It's just like the NBA when everybody wants to talk about LeBron and Jordan, right? It was easier to score. It's easier to score now in the NBA than it was when Jordan was playing, in my opinion. And I feel the same way with the city, I think, or with the NFL, and definitely Kansas City. I mean, it's hard, especially the AFC is tough. They are some dogs out there. So MVPs, who do you have? Who right now, if you were on the spot, who'd be your MVP for this year? Who do you want to see as your MVP this year?
Dumb
You go first.
question. I mean, obviously, being a Chiefs fan, I'd like for Mahomes to regain that crown. But I think after getting absolutely demolished in the Super Bowl, he should have a chip on his shoulder. And if he has healthy receiving core and a left tackle that's not terrible,
Yeah,
he should do hopefully good.
yeah. All right. You on the same, Dave? You
So
trying to
I've
ride
got
that
I've got
back?
two answers for you. I mean, obviously, like I'd love to see Mahomes win it, but there are a couple things that I think hold him back from winning it. Being a two-time winner, teams typically like when there's MVP voting, and it's really bad for Coach of the Year. That's why Andy Reid just doesn't win. They look at storylines, right? Storyline is one of the most important things. I think for Mahomes to be MVP, he's going to obviously have an amazing statistical season. He's going to have to rival 2018, 2022. I don't know if he'll get to that. I think the other part of it too is I think he's going to have some pieces around him kind of falter, right? He's going to have to pick up his defense. He's going to have to pick up issues at the tackle spot. I'm not sure I necessarily want that. Like I kind of want it to be smooth sailing, especially if he's going. For me, like MVPs are great, but I want him to catch Tom Brady, and that's going to be really tough to do if he's going to have to put the team on his back for the next few years. So I would love to see Patrick Mahomes. My realistic bet is for Jaden Daniels, actually, my outside bet. I think he's going to have a fantastic sophomore season. I think if they can overcome the Eagles, I think that'll put him in a good position to win MVP. What about you?
I like that. So, of course, my big one would be Josh Allen. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
MVP last year. I don't see it. I could see it actually if again, here's on Josh's side. He'd have to rival what he did last year. He'd have to keep getting better in the department of picks and being able to stay running on his feet, not getting hit as much. He has been saying he wants to be more of a passing quarterback. He wants to be more involved inside the pocket as opposed to getting out of the pocket and running. Are we going to see that? Buffalo's offensive line looks awesome. And, here later on, we'll start talking a little bit about the Buffalo Bills offense and defense. But my biggest one was Jaden Daniels. I truly believe if anybody could do it, Lamar Jackson would have to get over the hump and go to the AFC Championship game and win it. Josh Allen have to win the AFC Championship game to win it. But Jaden Daniels, I truly believe what they have over there in Washington is something that's going to be electric. I really do think that kid's going to be absolutely electric. Super Bowl picks, always such a fun one to do, but we already know that. There is no reason for me to change. I honestly, seriously think my Super Bowl pick for AFC NFC is I would really love to see either a Buffalo Philly. I'd love to see a Buffalo Philly. I truly don't think Detroit's going to do it. I think with as much coaching change they had, they're going to have a huge problem this year trying to fight back what they got last year or where they got to. But I'm gonna go Buffalo Philly in the Super Bowl this year. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right. I'm just making sure.
Maybe not. No, I'm kidding. Yes, absolutely. Buffalo over Philly. What do you have? I'm gonna sense a thing that it's gonna be Kansas City, Kansas City. But who's that NFC team? Because of course, realistically, those two teams in the AFC have that chance with Baltimore, depending how week one. What are your thoughts?
So, okay. I've got a couple different thoughts about this, and I've actually kind of gone back and forth. I'm torn. I'm not sure the Chiefs are set up for success this year like they have been in the past. And the Rashee Rice suspension scares me a little bit because it is the first 6 weeks, and the Chiefs kind of run a death gauntlet in the first 6 games. They go Chargers, which I think should be a win. Eagles, which I have chalked up as a loss. They play the Giants, which should be a win, and then turn around and play the Ravens. I mean, I think it's pretty tough games for the most part, and I think the Giants will be improved this year. That being said, it's one of those things where it's like it's hard for me to pick against the champ when I realize the Chiefs didn't win the Super Bowl last year, but they're so consistent. I got to go with the Chiefs. For the NFC side, I've gone between two teams. And I had one team is like the Eagles, and it's been really hard to kind of talk myself out of the Eagles and just how well set up they are. It's hard for me to just say that they're not top five in any position group in the NFL. That being said, I'm also leaning a little bit towards the Buccaneers, which is kind of an outside pick,
Okay.
soft division, good offensive weapons. The new rookie, the wide receiver Mbuka. I'll have to
And
double check the yeah. He looks like he's going to be a stud. You know, if Baker Mayfield kind of gets that thing rolling down there, I don't know, man. Might be an outside chance. Might be my dark horse. For now, I'm having Chiefs versus the Eagles. I hope it's a revenge game, and I hope the Chiefs get the better of them. But that's who I have right now. It's hard for me. I mean, I don't know. I think we should do this again about halfway to the season and see where everybody kind of lands. But that's where I've got my
Yeah.
prediction right now. What about you, Jim? James?
Uh,
I said Jim.
you can say Jim, it's okay. It's all the same thing. Yeah, obviously I would like the Chiefs to go to the dance again, but I don't know. It's hard to tell so early in the season. Like preseason, you don't actually see anything, especially now that like teams allow their players to just not participate, some of their
Right.
starters. So it's kind of dumb. But I mean, if it was the perfect world, it'd be Chiefs Eagles and we'd stomp a butthole in them. But it's not a perfect world, so I think I would give my prediction, even if we did this again on like week 3, just to like dip my toe in the water to see kind of how people are playing and whatnot. But I do like the Buccaneers thing. Being an OU fan, Baker Mayfield's a stud, and that would be awesome to see him show out. That would be very cool. But
yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah, no,
It's
I
hard to
like
tell.
that. I do really like that because, if they get that thing rolling, nobody knows where that thing will stop. I mean, they could really move in that division and stay healthy, as soft as that division is. Hopefully, right? And the
What do
big
you mean?
thing
The
is,
Saints aren't going to be a strong contender this year?
Yeah.
do we need to?
Spencer Rattler to QB? You're not concerned about them?
Yeah, he's
I
gonna
am
throw for like hundreds of yards this season.
hundred. I like it. Hundreds of yards.
Who knows?
Let's do this. Okay. Breakdown. Let's break down Kansas City, and then I'll break down Buffalo. Let's break down their offense, defense, and some of their matchups that they got coming up. At least let's look at the offense and defense. Let's break that down. How you guys feel they're looking this year so far, coming right out of it into week 1.
So one thing that kind of gives me a little bit of comfort is Andy Reid's had time to game plan for this. Chiefs theoretically have a better offensive line, I think, coming into this game than they went into the Super Bowl. Obviously, Joshua Simmons is a little bit of an unknown first-round draft pick. He's looked really good in training camp. He had his knees held up. He had a patellar injury, which is really kind of a weird one, but from a health perspective, he's looked pretty good. He didn't give up any pressures anytime he played in the preseason. That means that Kingsley Suamataia has moved into left guard. He is a little bit of an unknown. It's a little bit harder to evaluate the guard position than the tackle position. You kind of know if your man gets beat when it's tackle. He did have an issue in the second game where he tripped over a player, but I mean, those things kind of happen on the football field. The other thing to keep an eye on, too, for the Chiefs is right tackle. My gosh, I'm drawing a blank right now.
Jawan Taylor.
Jawan Taylor, yes, thank you. He is having some knee issues, and the game being in Brazil, it's a 12-hour flight. So we'll see. They might have to drain his knee. The tackle that they traded for from San Francisco, Elijah Moore, he had gotten some snaps in at right tackle this week. So, that might be a situation to keep an eye on. Another concern, obviously, right now is with Rashid Rice out. The bulk of the receiving work is going to go to Travis Kelce and Hollywood Brown. Hollywood Brown has never really been healthy for the Chiefs, so this is kind of the healthiest he's been. And I kind of put a little bit of a into that because he had suffered an ankle injury in the preseason. We don't know what sort of extent damage that caused. So we'll see. Defense actually looks pretty good. That Pennell getting cut from the team was a big surprise, but Nadi, I think, has been elevated to that tackle spot. I'll have to check a look. I mean, we don't have the depth charts out just yet. So I think it'll be a pretty good matchup. I think the defense going against that Chargers offense, they have some O-line issues right now with Rashawn Slater being out. And then I think another tackle out as well. So they're actually going to this game pretty hurt. Omarion Hampton is a pretty large unknown. He has been projected to have a pretty good year for being a rookie. So we'll see where that kind of comes down to. But overall, I think The matchup slightly favors the Chiefs here. Just a couple unknowns again with how well the left guard's going to play, how well the right guard's going to play, what Rasheed Rice's his absence is going to mean to the team. And then the final thing is we've seen this. I don't know if you watched the K-State Iowa State game or any game that's overseas, the fields simply just are not in great condition. So that's going to play
Yeah.
a factor, I think, in the game as well. So I expect the Chiefs to actually be using Isaiah Pacheco quite a bit on the run games. And when we talk about bets a little bit later, I'll go over that. But I think it's going to be largely a ground and pound game, and hopefully we'll see some Hollywood Brown highlights.
I like that. Yeah, no. Just a little bit of Bills, then we'll let you jump back in Chiefs. So looking at Buffalo's offense looked really, really strong for me. I was really liking Josh Palmer coming in there, wide receiver. It kind of got shaken up a little bit. People weren't understanding who QB2 was going to be, which, we really don't have to really discuss too much on that. But for the most part,
Let's talk about him.
Yeah.
Let's talk about who their backup quarterback got drafted before. I forgot.
Who Buffalo 2 is? Second, so Mitch Trubisky is going to be their second.
He's gonna do so good if something happens to your quarterback.
Yeah. So
hopefully nothing does. I'm a big Josh fan.
Yeah. So, one of the big things that I really like, James Cook coming back, getting that deal, Buffalo getting that thing signed up and sealed, that kind of helped out quite a bit on that run game. So, we got James Cook, Ray Davis in the backfield. I look to see Buffalo using them two a lot more than Josh using his wheels. Of course, Josh will be out there looking for his wheels. Some of the really cool ones for me, Keon Coleman through all of training camp looked phenomenal. Josh Palmer was looking really good. Tyrell Shavers, one that was on the bubble coming into the 53-man squad on actually preseason game 3, had a one-hand catch in the end zone. And I think that actually sealed the deal for Tyrell Shavers catching that number. Personally, I would say he's number 4, maybe number 5. It's between him and Curtis Samuel. But other than that, left tackle, that offensive line's still looking really, really nasty with Buffalo. I think they're going to do real good at protecting Josh in the background. The defense is where I have a big problem, that I kind of have some suspicion. So just earlier, Dwayne Carter, Buffalo's 3rd-round pick from last year, defensive tackle, actually went down with an Achilles injury. So he tore his Achilles and is out for the season. So that leaves us with Ed Oliver, Daquan Jones, TJ Sanders, and Deion Walker. Not Dwayne Carter, Deion Walker. Remember, we have Larry Okunjobi, but he's suspended. I believe it's for the PED thing. We'd have to look again just to make sure.
They averaged 6 regular season games.
And Michael Hoyt as well, defensive end. Other than that, we've got Gregory Rousseau, AJ Epinesa, those guys, Javon Solomon. I really love. Ed Oliver's back, Daquan Jones. We got one of my things that I kind of think was the Joey Bosa trade, right? The problem I have is Joey Bosa's always injured. If Buffalo can keep him healthy and keep him in a rotation where he's not playing 30, 40, 50 snaps a game, trying to play like he's a young buck anymore, I think he should be okay. But we need to look out for Tre'Davious White. They still haven't brought in what happened with Trey White out there at cornerback, right? So Buffalo's cornerback room and safety room has been kind of looking a little grim. Not everybody has a badass, the greatest safeties and cornerback room out of this world, right? They're decent. They have their but with Tre'Davious White questionable to play, and we'll hear more about that tomorrow, so stay tuned with it, because as soon as that comes out, I'm definitely going to be posting about the Tre'Davious White, because that's huge, because Maxwell Harrison went on IR, which is our rookie for this year. But with Taylor Rapp, Cole Bishop, Christian Benford, hopefully, again, he's questionable. He's been kind of getting a little bit of rest. I think our defense, for the most part, our defensive front is phenomenal. It's just be looking out for that outside. I truly think if we're not looking at the back end, we could get burnt quite a bit. There's not a very, very strong safety in second quarterback, right? We have one great safety, one great cornerback already out there. Whoever's next to Taylor Rapp's going to do good, and whoever's next to Christian Benford, right, on the other side just needs to make sure they're playing with them. And we got some guys out there, Taron Johnson, Brandon Codrington, DeMar Hamlin. He has his ups and downs, and Dorian Strong. So overall, I think we'll be good as long as we stay healthy. That's the biggest part, right? Is
Quick
staying healthy.
question: does bringing Gabe Davis back do anything for your team?
No, I'm not a Gabe Davis fan. Gabe Davis was one of those, and look at him last year. Where did he go? He ended up going to the Panthers or Jaguars. One of those. Can't remember.
I think he was with the Jags. Yeah.
I don't see it. I mean, look, we've got Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman, Josh Palmer, Tyrell Shavers, phenomenal in training camp, phenomenal in those preseason games. With Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox real healthy out there, we'll be okay. We're good on the receiver side. Especially when you have Josh in this part of his career, you don't need to go out and get those prime Stephon Diggs and those prime court or wide receivers right now. I think we have exactly what we need. What else? Anything else on the Kansas City side? You guys got anything else to me? You got anything on that offense depth chart?
Yeah. So I will say, just kind of a name to keep an eye out for, especially on the or on the fantasy football waivers down the road, is a player that I don't feel like is being talked a lot about outside of Kansas City, and that's Tyquan Thornton. He's originally drafted by the Patriots in the second round. He's looked really good in preseason. He's had some really good minicap reps. He's earned his spot on the team. With Rashee Rice being out and him being potentially another deep ball threat, with him opposite of Xavier Worthy at Hollywood, I think they'll probably throw him in for a few snaps in this first game against the Chargers. And I think if he shows out, there's a good chance that he takes Juju Smith-Schuster's spot on the team with the starters. I think if you're in a 14-man league, you're looking deep, just might be a good player you want to stash away. Outside of him, I think this will be a very heavy run plan with Isaiah Pacheco. He looks relatively healthy, but another player to keep in mind for the Chiefs is Brashard Smith, drafted in the 7th round. I think they're going to use him like they use a lot of backup running backs on the Chiefs. Think of oh gosh, I'm drawing blanks on some of the names here, but basically pass catching running backs, players that were out of the backfield. Rashard Smith was a wide receiver longer than he was a running back, so I think they'll use him in that regard as well. So just two players to keep an eye out for, especially for fantasy football.
Especially one thing I'll say about Kansas City is that misdirection and that motion in the backfield. You get those guys coming out of there, those guys are gone. They're 10, 15 yards down before your tackles, linebackers can even get there and make a move. So that's huge, especially how fast Kansas City can shift that line. That offensive line can move, and they can shift and start opening gaps for even inside run pass plays.
Right. And if Joshua Simmons is the sort of left tackle that I think he could be, with him being comped to the left tackle out of San Francisco potentially, which is insane. If the old line can hold up, then we're looking at a good opportunity here for the Chiefs to return to the deep ball. They've been a dink and dunk offense last year because they simply just didn't have the time to protect Patrick. So, we'll see. I think all of that kind of favors the offense there, and we should see their speed return to the offense.
I like it. Yeah, one thing, just sitting here talking about that, one person that I would say to definitely keep an eye on in the Bills rotation would be Landon Jackson. Buffalo picked him up in this draft. He looked really well in preseason as well as in training camp. Again, some of these rookies coming out there kind of have just a little bit of, that college they need to shake off, right? And understand that you're playing with guys that are top 1% from college. So that's one that I would definitely start looking at. And when Maxwell Harrison out 4 games, when he comes back, look at Buffalo putting him back in the cornerback room really fast and getting him in. I know he was phenomenal. The dude, Maxwell Harrison, was playing lights out, like it was every snap was his last snap. That's how I look at Isaiah Pacheco. They always play each snap like it's their last one. And that's a good thing and a bad thing. So we'll definitely see. Keep it up on that. Let me know out there if you guys think who you guys think inside the Bills depth chart, Kansas City, or even any other team, who we should look at. Who is one person that you guys think we should look at? Let us know. Drop a comment down there, drop a post somewhere, and let us know what you think, who we should be looking at. Jimmy, what do you got on Kansas City real fast? Give me a real fast what you think Kansas City, one person to look at on Kansas City's offensive line that nobody's looking at, maybe on the line.
I don't know. I mean, I was shocked that my man Creed Humphrey wasn't ranked number one center in the NFL last year. Dude's a stud and a half, and the combination of him and Trey Smith is an unstoppable duo. And so, I don't know. We'll see. I'm really excited for that left tackle, though. See what happens with that.
I've been hearing a lot with that. Okay, check this out. We have finally made it to one bold week one hot take. So each of us go with one bold week one hot take. And look, one of my biggest one, my hot take was going to be kind of off the wall different here.
Okay.
But I kind of brought it
Excited to
back
hear this.
to the Cowboys. The Cowboys-Eagles. That is my
Okay.
hot take. And here's the thing, right? Why this is hard for me is the Eagles are landing their season opener at home, right? So this is at home. They're coming off that Super Bowl win. They're already slated as the heavy favorites going in here because who knows about the shit show going on in Dallas, right? We posted about it with Micah Parsons leaving Dallas, moving on over to Green Bay. I thought that was a stupid deal, but when you look at the actual long run effects of this, 2 first-round picks, but they also took a really old veteran and shipped him over there. Do I think he's a number one, should be the number one highest paid non-quarterback in the league? No, absolutely not. He has a talk in the top 5 for sure. But I mean, you've got guys like T.J. Watt, you've got Myles Garrett that's in there, and a few others. Don't quote me exactly who that top 5 was highest paid. Us three talked about it off podcast just over this past weekend. So.
Yeah.
But it's not just to win, but this on both sides of the ball is, for Dallas, I think this is to show one last year of, do we have what it takes? Do we actually have the infrastructure here on this offensive line or defensive line to do something? I don't know. I really don't. I mean, look, Dak Prescott, who does he really have that's other than, who's the wide receiver that they still have over?
CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, that guy. You need more, right?
Siri agrees.
Siri agrees.
Yeah.
Look, I think Cowboys offensive line issues, with some of their key guys missing camp time, I think the hot take with this is to sit and watch this. This is going to make Dallas's year or ruin this year based off this first game because of what happened during their preseason was just terrible. Just a terrible camp, a regression from Terrence Steele. Look, let's look at it like this. They both have concerns, but Dallas entering this season with some offensive line concerns and the Eagles coming off of what everybody would say the Super Bowl slumber, right? They're going to have that Super Bowl slumber. They're going to be asleep. They're not going to start out fast and fiery.
Can't relate.
It's going to be, yeah.
I do. So they have CeeDee Lamb, but they also have George Pickens.
Ooh, yes, they do.
That little duo could be something fun to watch, actually.
Should we just do an over-under on how long it takes before George Pickens throws his first punch of the season?
I'm going to go 7 plays.
Ooh. I like it.
At least I
Maybe on
hope.
the conservative side.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Yo,
But that could be a
underrated
good
for
duo,
everyone.
though. Yeah, those hands are. I do think it might be interesting to watch those two because CeeDee Lamb's have obviously proven really good wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
And George Pickens, I think, just has never had not saying Dak is it, but has never really had a good quarterback to throw to him, I think. Like in their prime, good quarterback. Obviously, he had Aaron Rodgers, who's older than all of us, but you know what I mean. That'll be an interesting one, I think.
Yeah, my hot take of the week is I'm going to put a team on upset alert right away. I'm going to put the Bengals on upset alert against the Doo-Doo Browns.
Ooh, okay.
Here's why. Historically, the Bengals have never gotten off to a great start. If you've seen any of the Bengals preseason games, their O-line has looked pretty bad. Myles Garrett's still that dude. Yes, I realize that the Browns are starting Joe Flacco, but it's going to be the freshest Joe Flacco has been all year. So I think there's a good chance that, the Bengals go into this game. Zach Taylor doesn't have the team prepared, and they take a loss to the Browns. I don't necessarily think it'll be a fun game to watch. I do think that there will be some offensive output from the studs on in the wide receiving core. But I mean, if you can't protect Joe Burrow, it's gonna be a tough season for you. So I think the Browns can pull it off.
Wow. I like that. I wasn't seeing that upset alert like that, but when you picture it that way and you paint that picture, that is doable. And I could see the Browns coming out firing strong. What you got, Jimmy? Give us that hot take. Give us something good. Give us the juice.
Well, it'll be a weird one for me being a Chiefs fan, but I think a fun game to watch would be the Raiders and Patriots because the Patriots are favored to win. And I just really think Ashton Genty got robbed of the Heisman last year. So I think it'll be cool to watch him run all over people, hopefully. Or he's going to be a dud. I don't know. Because there's
I
been
just
some
knew
really
he was
great.
going to be a Raider. I just knew it. The whole draft, like, this is going to happen. It's
Yeah.
inevitable.
I think if he plays the first couple series and he doesn't do good, they need to let him go back to his Michael Myers stance before they snap the ball, and then he just goes into slay mode.
Yeah.
And I mean, that dude was a freak of nature. That dude had better games in college when he only played half the game than some players do their whole career. So some good
Yeah.
players do their whole career.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be a fun one to just at least watch a few series of at least, see how he does. I know in the preseason that like first game he did terrible. I think he had like 5 rushes for like 2 yards or something, but preseason doesn't count. It don't matter.
So let me ask you: a lot of people have the Patriots as a dark horse team this year. Are you on board with that? Are you a Drake May believer?
No, I don't know much about that. I haven't paid attention to anything that involves them, so I personally couldn't tell you. But I think from all of our years of watching Tom Brady and the Patriots annihilate all of our teams, it's fun now to watch them suck.
I will say on that note, I think the Patriots will be number 2 in the AFC East. I think they'll take number 2. I truly do. I think what they've got building over there is if they can keep that healthy and keep that offensive line strong to protect him, Drake May. I truly think Drake. Do I think Drake May is a top 5 quarterback? No, I think he's more 13, 14, maybe looking at the 15. And we'll get in that because one thing I love is Mahomes Mountain. I loved watching Nick Wright always post Mahomes Mountain because what he says to me as Bills fan is the truest statement. Like that right there shows me honestly as Bills fan a truthful top. What does he have on there? Top 20 or I don't remember how many he has on
I think he ranks every quarterback.
everyone. So and it's perfect. Don't be surprised if you don't see Drake May starting to crack in the top 15 this year. He could. He really could. I would
So
say
you have them second, the Patriots second. How do you have the rest of the division going? Obviously, we know the Bills you have first.
yeah, we know the
I think
Bills.
anybody who's watches football would.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I actually had it, and I thought I actually posted it down, but I was looking. I have it like this: I have Bills, Patriots, Dolphins, Jets in that order. I was kind of torn between the Dolphins and the Jets, going back and forth, because I truly think Miami has a huge problem down there.
I
And
think this is Mike
until
McDaniel's last year,
I do too.
probably.
I think
Yeah,
Tyreek's done. I think if Tua can stay out of getting a concussion and stay healthy and play the whole season,
big if.
you might have
Hmm.
something. But there's a huge problem down in Miami. So Buffalo, Patriots, Dolphins, Jets. And that's a huge, I'm kind of iffy on that. What do you have in the AFC West? How do you see the AFC West going? I know we
Yeah.
talked about this a little bit over the weekend. So what do you think? What are your thoughts?
All right. So for me personally, I'm gonna go Chiefs first. I It's a coin toss between the next two teams, but I'm going to go with Denver over the Chargers, and then I have the Raiders last. And I know the Raiders will be improved with Ashton Jinsey. They have Geno Smith now at quarterback. Pete Carroll is a great coach, obviously. That being said, I think Denver's defense is just too good. They have a great O line. I'm not necessarily 100% sold on Bo Nix, but from what I've seen from Bo Nix, I think he has a better chance of winning the big games over Justin Herbert. And we haven't seen him in that position necessarily yet, but Justin Herbert's been in the league for 7 years now, and he just hasn't proved to me that he can win when it matters the most. So I'm going to give that benefit of the doubt to the Broncos, who I think have a better overall roster.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with everything that you just said for the AFC West. But I could see the Raiders and Chargers flip flop. I don't know. That one's a coin toss, I think. Raiders Chargers.
Yeah.
And I say that with hoping that come, the first game on Friday, if we don't get for some reason our ass kicked by the fucking Chargers. But like, I don't know. I don't everything you said about like Denver's O line, they're one of the best offensive lines in football right now. And so I don't know. Yeah, we'll see kind of what happens. I kind of
They
hope
really will.
for the Raiders, like some of the players I do like Max Crosby's always fun to watch. Ashton Genty, I think, will be really fun to watch. I think he'll like bring back in a way that running back position that people used to actually enjoy watching. Now the
Mhm.
NFL is more of like a throw game. You don't have like, your LaDainian Tomlinsons and stuff like that anymore, it seems like. I mean, obviously, we all know you have Derrick Henry, who is a cheat code, but I
Don't
I
forget
think,
the fireworks safety tip here. Be careful with fireworks because Chargers starting running back. I think he's mainly blind in one eye now. I
Yeah.
think they
oh,
said
is
that
it?
he's like 20% of his
20,
vision back, and that might be it. So
Yeah.
fireworks
not
safety
great.
is huge, kids.
I feel like there's a PSA every 3 years, like, hey, maybe don't light that next to your face or
Or
hold
hold it in
on
your
to
hand
it. Yeah,
and
yeah.
get
JP.
custom made gloves.
Common sense isn't so common anymore.
It is not.
Okay, one thing I kind of want to double back to because you brought up the Ashton Genty. And I want your guys' opinion just real quick on this to let the viewers
hmm
know. What is your guys' thoughts of Travis Hunter playing both defense and offense, and what is your over under on games where he's actually going to start and play both offense and a defensive position in the same game?
I don't see that happening.
I think
It's a
it's
whole different. It's a different ball game. I mean, your college to the pros is, I wouldn't say quite equivalent, but it's like you ask any person if you know anyone that went from high school ball to college ball to D1 college ball. So much faster.
mm,
It's a whole different thing. And then a lot of people don't think, college to pros is the same thing. From high school to D1 ball, you're getting the best of the best. Just there's a shit ton more teams.
hmm
And then from D1 to pros, you're getting the best of this much. So I think he's a tremendous athlete, and the fact that he did what he did in college is actually like pretty awesome. But him doing that in pros,
Not
I mean,
sustainable, right?
I don't see
no,
how it could be.
And I mean,
yeah,
because they have him as a
I
wide
agree.
receiver and left, he is the second one in as the left cornerback. So he's going to be cycling out with Jerry and Jones. So, Dave, what's your thoughts on it? Do you and what's your over under? Let's look at that too. What's your over under? James is base. Jimmy's basically no. It's they're going to find out real
Well,
fast.
yeah, no, I actually agree. And I think to even expand upon the competition aspect too is he played at Colorado. They didn't really play like you're not really playing Big Ten, you're not playing SEC. So like yes, you're playing top level competition, but you're not even playing the best of the best week in and week out. I just think the NFL, it's so difficult. It's a whole nother speed and just the risk of injury is so much higher. I mean, you've got to learn a lot on from both sides of the playbook. And I think that obviously might help your game as a wide receiver or DB. But I don't know. I think it's great if they're, and I honestly am not 100% up to date on Jacksonville Jags news. So I don't know what type of snap count he's going to get. But it's just really hard to imagine a world where he's playing that for a full season, where he's doing both positions. And if he is, they better give him the MVP because
Yeah.
that's impressive.
Yeah, and especially if he's consistent, his snap count is like college. Absolutely, hands down. Better give that man the MVP if he's holding it
Yeah.
down, right?
Right.
So we'll see how it goes. It was exciting. That was one thing I've been kind of just keeping in the pocket to look at over the preseason. in training camp to see if they were actually going to keep him as a number 2 cornerback in that cornerback room and a wide receiver. Also, you got to think about how much he has to learn in both sides of that ball, right? So he's going to be in 2 meetings, right? He's going to be in the wide receiver room, then he's going to be running over to the cornerback room. So that also right there is how do you split that time? You only have so much time in a day. Not saying that
Yeah,
he's not a hard worker. I don't know.
I mean, I would guess that he would spend more time with the wide receivers just because he's actually starting and they have him as the second string for DBs. But I mean, but still, like, you got to hone your craft. I think it's time to just, hey, I'm wide receiver now. If there's an injury in the secondary, great. Yeah, not great, but you know what I mean? Like, great, you'll get that playing time. But
Yeah.
I can't imagine it. It's tough.
Yeah, I agree. Here it is. All right, what is your thoughts on the Chiefs' keys to victory this week?
Yeah, great question. Honestly, I think it comes down to a couple different things. Protection of Patrick Mahomes, getting the run game going, utilizing Isaiah Pacheco, and to some extent Kareem Hunt. Short yardage gains. I don't know how the field is going to look. I would like to ideally see some over the top plays, particularly to Hollywood Brown. I'm not so much worried about Xavier Worthy here, but I think the Chiefs will win if they establish the run game and protect Patrick Mahomes.
And if their defense can do what they're supposed to do, which is always a fun coin flip at the beginning of games. So
Right.
I
Give
feel like they
Omarion
always,
Hampton his welcome to the NFL moment.
exactly. I feel like though they always end up like either they can stop the run and then they're just like, why is the ball in the air? Oh, he's passing? Oh, well, he's way, like, or they stop the pass and then whoever's running the ball averages like 8 yards a carry, and you're just like, what are we doing here, fellas? But yeah, I think if they protect Patrick, they get the run game going, maybe have a couple deep balls here and there, would be awesome. They
Hmm.
say Travis Kelce's in the best shape he's ever been. That'd be cool to see him go out victorious.
Right.
I would imagine this is his last year, and he's got to pump some babies into that lady. So
Anchor
Better.
babies.
Hey, and
that's
I
right.
broke.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is 100% true, but I think I broke that to the wife there. I think I dropped them. I'm not sure, but I think I did drop the news to the wife about them getting engaged. So I may not.
Well,
She may have
okay.
already knew, but I think I caught it really, really quick. So we'll see. Uh, here's my Bills' key to victory. One of the big things that we kind of segue into with this is which matchup is tougher this week, right, between the Chiefs and Bills. And we definitely know that Buffalo has the harder matchup this week on paper, physically knowing that
Yeah,
you've
I won't
got
argue with that.
King Henry sitting over there. You've got Lamar Jackson, one of the best quarterbacks over there, especially mobile quarterbacks. You don't know what those guys are going
Hmm.
to do out of there. I seriously think that the keys to Buffalo's victory on offense is that balance, keeping a good balance mentality of everyone eats, right? If we keep the everybody eats mentality and put that ball where they don't know where it's going to go, right? Josh is out there just slinging to everybody, not trying to force the ball down the field, especially if we start using Josh Palmer's deep speed. I mean, Palmer can stretch the field quickly on defensive backs, especially safeties, right? Especially with Josh's eyes. Josh could lead them. So those are my huge keys. Especially if we can get James Cook started up pretty early and pounding that rock down there, that'll kind of relieve a little bit of the wide receivers. Start bringing that defense more in and allow Josh Palmer to have more of that speed down the field, right? Being able to extend that field. Defense, again, stopping those guys. Our cornerbacks, you know, I think it's going to be Johnson and Christian Benford, that's going to be out there. Right? And our safeties being able to stop anything over the top, and definitely our linebackers getting in there and stuffing that hole and stopping Henry and not letting Lamar Jackson out of the pocket like those three, right? You get Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson outside of the pocket. They're lethal. They're very deadly. So statistically, in history, King Henry has not done very well against Buffalo rushing. I think Buffalo's offense or defensive line is strong enough to really stop that. So that's going to be interesting. That's going to be my keys to the game. We got to keep that offensive continuity. With those rising wide receivers, we need to keep them. We just need to, have that shutdown right there for it. Just keep going what we got. I think right there. Look at that defense. That defense is going to speak real quick and how much continuity we have on offense. So that's mine. I do think Buffalo will win personally on it. Of course, I always want the Bills to win. It's going to be a very, very tough game. Definitely going into it earlier. Dave, you sent me. So I am actually in Oklahoma, so I cannot sports bet here,
right.
but I can look it up. And Dave kind of sent me over a 3-leg parlay, right? So
That's right.
sports betting
right.
corner. Here we are. This is where I get to learn about sports betting because my wife and I got married in Vegas. We didn't gamble. Jimmy was there, seen it. We didn't gamble. I don't gamble. But
It's off in the desert.
yeah, we definitely need to talk about that. That's great.
Well, it was
It
not
wasn't
great.
so much for you guys.
I lost like 20 pounds on the back of that limo. What kind of
Yeah,
limo doesn't have AC?
that one.
Stupid. In the desert.
Yeah.
The only one we
Wow.
pick.
Got the budget though.
Dude, it's bad.
Got the
They paid us to ride in it.
Yeah.
car.
So let's look at this. And sorry guys, I am trying to learn how this
Yeah.
thing works a little
I
bit
can
better.
pull it up.
But so I have it up here. Let's go with the spread. Let's go with that money line and tell me if I'm right on this. I've been trying to do some research. So
All right.
I wish it would stick, but the spread is, and then the money line. So Buffalo is favored by 1.5 points at home, right? So that's what that
Yes,
negative 1.5.
correct.
So Buffalo is favored 1.5. I think that is as close of a game as you're going to get. So if this is at a neutral field,
Yes.
they think
I
Baltimore.
predict the Ravens to win. Right.
Yeah. Over under 50.5. That's a big score.
It is.
That means these offenses are just dicing up these defenses. I don't know. And the money line, I don't know what that is. I don't know what this.
That's just who you think is going to win.
Okay.
That's it. That's all it is. Yep.
Okay. Here's my thoughts then. Then let's go up here with this Kansas City because this is a good one. All right. So Kansas City is a 3-point favorite.
Yes.
Over there. I figured it would be just a little bit more of a separated gap because you've got Kansas City can travel. 45.5 over under 45.5. So again, they feel like these guys are going to dice up these defenses. That's some big numbers.
Right.
Those two games. And then again, we've got the money line negative 170 for Kansas City plus 142. That is the money lines for both Kansas City and Buffalo. Dave, give me your 3-game parlay or 3-leg.
Yeah,
you don't have to give me the one you gave me.
Yeah, so I've got a 3-leg parlay to help you all make some money. I did one for each game. So here's what I've got for the Bills and Ravens on Sunday Night Football. I've got the Bills covering the spread at 1.5. I've got James Cook over 60 rushing yards, and I've got Josh Allen as an anytime touchdown. I think if the Bills are going to win this game, they're going to need to minimize mistakes, and I think the best way to do that is to keep the ball on the ground and make it a physical game. I think the Bills are well equipped to do that. And I expect this to be a pretty good year for James Cook. So I think we'll see a bit of the ground and pound. And so this kind of lines up for it. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to do the tush push on the goal line with Josh Allen. So yeah, you bet all that. That's a plus 395 parlay there for you.
Hey, Jimmy, you were talking about a parlay that you put in there. Let's hear that.
Well, I put in a parlay, but it's dumb. But I'll tell you my other bet I did. I bet weirdly, like I'll do like a 13, 15 leg parlay.
Yes.
I'm more of I will watch how a game develops, and at halftime, I will do another 15 leg parlay.
Okay.
And that's typically how I always win my money. So
I like it.
But I did do a bet that was plus 3,500, which Dave thinks I'm dumb for. I think it might turn out great. It's plus 3,500. It's that Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson will each have 5+ rushing yards a quarter. Both mobile quarterbacks both a lot of times go to that. Well, one for sure always does the mobile quarterbacking, but the other one, he'll make his reads, and if it's not there, when you're 6'5", 240 pounds, and you lower your shoulder and run. Dave did make a good point of when the game's down to the wire, they like to take a knee. So hopefully, if that happens, whichever quarterback that takes the knee had like 17 rushing yards that quarter,
Yeah,
and it
it's
doesn't
possible
affect me at all.
for sure.
So, but that right there, I bet $5, and the payout is 200. So
There you
that'll
go.
be that'll be a nice little beer money
I
for
do have one
Florida.
more 3-leg parlay there for the Chiefs. I've got the Chiefs covering the 3-point spread. I've got Isaiah Pacheco as the anytime touchdown score. We mentioned a little bit about the O-line problems for the Chargers. I do have Chris Jones getting a sack. That puts you at plus 600 odds.
There you go.
So I built a 3-leg parlay just so I can't tell you.
Okay.
I can tell you what the odds are, but I can't tell you what that payout looks like because again, being in Oklahoma, I can't actually see that. I can pick it for fun. So talk to your local congressman. Let's get Oklahoma. I mean, Oklahoma has all of these casinos ran by
They
the
just need to
administration.
legalize weed and sports betting everywhere and call it
Yeah,
good.
I hear you. So, all right, here it is. Baltimore Ravens at Buffalo Bills. 3-leg parlay. I got Buffalo Bills covering the spread. I do have James Cook with 60-plus yards. I think they're going to get him involved early and often. I think this is James Cook's year to really show what this money's been given to him. I'm ready for him. And a Keon Coleman anytime tutty will give you a plus 800. I truly believe Keon Coleman. Think of this, guys. If Buffalo's within 10 yards and they need an out route, somebody to jump, Keon Coleman all offseason and all during training camp, all the way up through the preseason, was doing that. Like he was up there putting that big frame, big body in that end zone. So I truly think keep an eye on Keon Coleman, especially when Buffalo gets in the red zone with this Ravens team and throws it in there. Again, that's a plus 800. If you guys want to look that up, go ahead. I'm using, what was it, DraftKings is what he
Right.
gave me. So let us know what your bets are. Again, these guys do it a lot. I really haven't. Give us your week one's wildest predictions. Put them at our Instagram locals or all those little interweb things, Twitter, IG handles, everything that'll be down below. Let us know. We'll read the best ones next week, what your craziest prediction was, and we'll read it. We'll read it and see how you did. Send those things to us. Final thoughts. Anything you guys got? Final thoughts on this week, the weeks coming up, anything like that?
It is a great day for football, and I'm
It
so happy it's
is.
back. I don't
Football
even care
is back.
what happens. It's just the best time of the year from now until February. So
Facts.
Absolutely.
I'm happy.
I
You
love
said
it.
fat?
Fat
I'm kidding.
fats. Yeah. All right. Before we go, why don't you guys give them a fantasy football tip of the week?
I
It's the
don't know. I don't.
first week. I mean, the first week is honestly like you're just best to just stick with the projections for the first week and see where things go. Honestly, the first week of fantasy football is like monkeys throwing spaghettis at the wall, or they're monkeys throwing shit at the wall and just sing with sticks. You know what I mean? Just write it out. I don't know what to tell you. If you didn't draft well, you didn't draft well.
This is true.
Yeah. And I always draft middle range in between 5 and 8, right? Like I'll be there, but the last league we played, I think I was second to last in draft projections for the end of the year, and I actually won that. I think it was only 8, but most people are in a 10 to 14 team leagues. I do like to say, just like Dave says, the biggest thing is leave it with your projection. Let it run. Week 1 is not going to hurt you in fantasy football whatsoever, right? Let's
Yeah.
see what sticks. Let's see who stays out there, and then you're going to get a lot of understanding of how this is actually going to run. So that's going to do it for us, guys. I love it. This was week 1, episode 1 of Tables and
Right.
Tailgates. I love it. Go Bills. And until next time, Godspeed. What do you guys got?
Go Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Go Chiefs.
Always.
God bless Taylor Swift.